top 40 under 40 in Oklahoma, and he has a multitude of businesses and a lot of great information to tell you. We got a surprise. He actually showed up a little bit early, and so he was nice enough to come into my previous class and talk with him a little while. So I've got to hear him and can tell you you're in for a real treat. So please help me welcome Clay Clark.
All right, thank you. All right, does everybody have a note-taking device? Okay. Kind of today, I want to just get an idea here. How many people in the room would like to start a business at some point? That's something that you aspire to do. Okay, who here does not want to start a business at any point? Not your thing. You're just kind of here hanging out. It's okay. Okay. All right, it was okay. And as far as people here that are wanting to start a business, does anybody here, by show of hands, who knows what form of business they want to get into? Maybe what industry or what niche do you want to do? Okay, okay. I'm going to pick on you, ma'am, there with the fabulous red hair. You. Yes. What kind of business do you want to start? Real estate? Okay. And what would be the goal of your business? Like, let's just pretend utopia. That, like when I started my business, I was 17, I was at my house in Minnesota, and I started this business, and it kept growing. My goal was to not be poor. That was my number one activity, because I grew up that way, and so I didn't grow up super poor, but all the boxes were the generic brands, you know what I'm saying? We definitely, went to the dollar movie quite a bit, definitely, just everything was kind of more of a chore, so finances dictated things. But what is your goal? Like if you start your business, what would be the goal of the business?
Well, I would want to start my real estate firm, and of course I would want to make money. I kind of grew up in the same situation too.
And let's say that it makes money. How much money?
A lot.
Well, I'm just asking. Okay, I'm just trying to get. And let's just say that you have all the money that you could possibly want. Let's say that you make, a very nice income. What do you want to do with that money?
I would, of course, want myself nice things, but I would want to help my mom and my sisters. And
So.
that would be my goal, is to help my mom and my sisters really more than myself.
Now, I hate to pick on you particularly, but just a kind of question for everybody. If you could just take a second and just write down for a second. If you do want to start a business, write down what kind of business it is. If you know what it is, just write it down, okay? Thoughts are things, so we need to write them down here. Thoughts are things. Okay, write it down. What you want to do, what kind of business that you would like to have. It doesn't really matter, there's no right or wrong, just what kind of business or what kind of career you want to have, okay? And then I want you to write why, the reason why. You don't have to write a long, dissertation. You don't have to use MLA format, thank God, okay? But you do have to write it down. Okay, so why? Why do you want to do it? And then once you write down why, I want you to write down, you said because you wanted to be able to make, a good amount of money. But then I want you to write down, peel it back one more layer, and why do you want to make a good amount of money? Or if you said, well, I want to have a business because I want to work for myself. Why? Okay? So break it down 2 levels. Why and then why again. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because business is kind of like water skiing. It's kind of my analogy I like to use. But you're water skiing, you're feeling pretty good, your buddies are like, hey man, you're pretty awesome, let's go faster, so your dudes are cranking it up to, they go up 5 miles an hour faster, and you're like, stop, seriously, stop, you're going to kill me, and they're like, he wants faster, he wants it faster, so they crank it up, and you keep holding on to the skis and stuff, and you lose one ski, and they're like, oh, he's a show-off, he's crazy, he's going with 1 foot, baby, you lose that one, you're barefoot, and and then what happens is then you hit the bottom, you hit the water, and for some reason you're sick, you pull your arms out of socket, but you're still holding on to those bad boys. Okay, so you're holding on to the rope still, and then all of a sudden, amazingly, you pull yourself back up. Some people cheer, some people boo, but everyone's like, I cannot believe we just saw a barefoot crash / re-up, unbelievable, right? That's what running the business is like, but you're holding on to your why. The reason why you started the business is what you hold on to the whole time. Does that make sense? So like for me, not being poor was enough of a passion for me to want to work. I actually did a wedding in Dallas and a wedding in Minneapolis within 24 hours of each other, no sleep, and then came back to Tulsa and did another one because a guy called in sick, you know what I'm saying? A why is our website's top in Google. If you type in Tulsa DJs, right? But it took like 100 pages of erroneous, crazy text and all these ways to figure out how not to optimize your website before I figured out how to. And if your why is not meaningful, you will quit, right? You will quit because at 2 in the morning when you've been doing real estate for 2 years and your cousins are like, why don't you just go work for somebody else? You've been bankrupt twice now. Why don't you? At what point are you going to stop? Well, Who else went bankrupt twice? Do you guys does anyone here know the story of Quick Trip, the gas station chain in Tulsa? Went into bankruptcy twice. Twice, right? But people don't know that because you only celebrate the success. We don't look at what happened to get there. So that guy was crazy. Why was he crazy? I don't know. He just wanted to offer great products. He opened a convenience store without selling any cold beverages. Odd. He had canned goods. What? Is that convenient? No can openers, I want something nice and cold to drink. Oh, yeah, great. Here's a can. But that's what he did. But it took him several failures. So I'm getting at is you have to know your why before you begin. Otherwise, it's all for naught. Because if you start this business, you get your business loan, you get going, and you lose your passion, you're done. And your passion just can't be to make a lot of money. Because if you're in my case, 4 or 5 years ago, made a lot of money, but no free time at all. 80 hours a week working. I got 2 kids, working night, working the morning, doing all sorts of stuff. Making lots of money. Can't spend it because I don't have any, I'm never not working. Right? So you're making lots of money, but why? What's the why? You know what I'm saying? You have to keep focused on that. So I wanted to just start off by asking you your why. But the first thing I wanted to get over here for you is for those of you who don't want to own a business, it's okay. You don't have to do it. But I will tell you, as a business owner, it is the best way to navigate through the current American tax system. Okay? So whether you like it or not, I don't care. I'm just telling you. Right now, if, what is your name, sir, again? Alex. If Alex works for me as a DJ, we pay our DJs about 30% to go DJ a wedding. So you'll make 30% of $675 to go do the wedding, okay? So that's $210, something like that, $220. $225, I guess it is. So you make $225. So $225 after taxes, what's the tax rate, do you think, roughly? Maybe, how much percent? He's going to pay, when it's all said and done, if they really get you, you're going to pay about 15 or 20%. 7.5 of that is going to go to a cesspool we call Social Security. You're not going to see it again, but you still have to pay for it, okay? So you're paying for all this stuff. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, you get your check and you're like, oh man, my check was $197. What happened, right? And the more you make, the more they take. Feel me? Okay? Because it's incremental. It's like if Michael Jordan was the best basketball player, you keep putting bigger and bigger ankle weights on him because he's better than everybody. So if you earn more, they just tax you more. That's the way the system works. Is it fair? I don't know. You guys can debate it, but that's how it is. Now, if you own a business, your business can buy your car, your business could buy your office, your business could buy your computer, your business can finance 1 vacation per year, your business could go to a conference in Vegas where you happen to swim and enjoy a vacation, your business could, your business could do all that, but you could do it through the vehicle of your business. Does that make sense? So you can avoid some of the tax shelters. Also, if I don't like you on a personal level, and I'm just like, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you, and I'm happy to not like you, and I'd like to sue you, right? So I sue you, you sue me, whatever. I sue you. What happens is that through the business, you're able to have some corporate protection and some things that can happen to protect your wealth. Individually, you're kind of screwed. So just throwing that out there for you. So if you don't want to start a business, at least start a shell company so that you're safe. I'm just throwing that out for you. That's my whole, okay? I'm being serious though. And there's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If anyone wants to read that, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It totally rocked my mind. I met a guy who's very, very wealthy. And I said, how do you know all this stuff? He's like, oh, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's like a 200-page book. It'll teach you everything. 200 pages later, you'll understand tax shelters and how it works. Now, you can philosophically disagree with it. I don't care. But the point is it does exist. It's the rules to the game. It's like football. You might not like that the out of bounds are here and here, but it's still out of bounds. You can argue it all you want, but you're still out. Taxes, that's how it goes. You're still going to pay more the more you earn, so find a way to keep more of it. Okay? And the phrase to remember is not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Hamada, hamada. Marinate. Okay, so, moving along. Now, Abraham Lincoln said the best way, he was trying to motivate people that didn't want to start businesses. This is in Abraham Lincoln's time. So you imagine the crazy goatee, crazy, how he's feeling good, looking thin. He says, the best way to help the poor, America, is to not become one of them. There, Abraham Lincoln, there he is, highly motivational. So Abraham Lincoln was just saying, hey, for those of you who don't want to, become rich, just don't become poor and make it easy for me, okay? Because he's trying to fight poverty, and people who want to fight poverty are also poor. So if you join the Peace Corps and you don't earn an income and you also live off of welfare, then you are also part of the problem. But if you have a bunch of money and you can fund the whole Peace Corps yourself and give an endowment for $27 million to OSU, then you're part of the solution. So you have to have some money or no one cares what Boone Pickens thinks, right? But you have some money, you get your name on the stadium. That's how it works. Right? So, moving along here. Now, you must decide today that success is a choice. I want you guys just to write that down. Success is a choice. It's not luck. Thomas Jefferson said, I am a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more luck I have. But, point is, he's just saying the harder I work, the more opportunities present themselves. Has anybody here ever done door-to-door sales? Like you're selling those books, those things, those dating packets. You know what I'm talking about? The things that you get them and there's like $5 off of a $12 burger, and you're like, oh, honey, it's a sweet deal. Let's go there. The Happenings books, you know, it's like bowling coupons. Have you ever seen these things? Cheerleaders, anybody sell these? You know what I'm talking about? These coupon books, right? You go door to door, and you're like, ding dong, you're in 3rd grade, though, so you try to look pitiful. You're like, excuse me, sir, I'm trying to raise money for my baseball team. Would you want to buy a Happenings book? You're awesome. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Next house. All right. Excuse me, you're like getting more and more pathetic. Excuse me, sir. I'm hungry. But I don't want any food. I just want you to buy my Happenings. That's all I want. You know. So what happens is you're able to go door to door. But the more houses you go to, the more people that'll say yes. Right? That's just how it goes. So Thomas Jefferson's just saying the more people that you cold call, the more deals you close. The more houses that you show, the more you're going to close. The more times you take your ACT, the higher you're going to score. Okay? I took it a bunch of times. Kept getting better. I got a good strategy going, a good batting stance the last couple times. Okay. But moving along here. Now, point 2 is it says life requires a combination for success. Okay? Life is a combination. It's like a big lock. It's a big, life is a big safe. And in it there's success, and there's just a combination to it. It's not that hard, right? If you want to get rich, just study the lives of wealthy people and do what they did, and you're done. It's not that hard, right? I mean, how many, let me ask you this, this is a good question. This called me out a few years ago. I used to dress like a sloth. You know that guy that like eats on forest thing? You know, the animal, the sloth. I used to dress like a sloth, looked like a sloth, you know, had the double hoop earring. I was feeling cool, but I just was poor, okay? So anyway, feeling cool, looking like a sloth, and a guy pulls me aside, I work with, my boss, he says, hey, when I tell you the phrase like attracts like, what do you think about? And I'm like, I'm thinking like, you know, and just, you know, and he says, you know, the people you hang out with, that you have these problems with, these people that, you know, steal stuff from you and do various things to you and stuff, they look like you. You understand what I'm saying? They want to be with you because you're their familiarity. You guys ever been to like church, or you ever been to like a youth group? You'll see like all the white kids over here, all the black kids over here, all the Mexican kids over here, all the rich kids over here, you know, because people attract to each other. Whether you like it or not, people just attract each other. Okay, that's the thing about diversity. You got to mix it up a little bit, okay? But like attracts like. So what I'm getting at here is if you dress and act and think poor, you will be poor. You know what I'm saying? So if you dress poor, why would I want to give you a business loan if you came to me dressed poor? Why, you know what I'm saying? Why would I want to do that? So you got to think, look at the combination and do what they do. So let's choose a profession. If you wanted to start start a company that did some sort of public speaking, what would be the best way to get that off the ground? Can someone tell me where you'd start? If you start a public speaking company, you wanted to book yourselves as a motivational speaker, how would you start? Anybody? Anybody here?
Try to accredit yourself.
Try to accredit yourself?
Make you seem worthwhile.
Would it make sense to go on YouTube and maybe watch the best speakers in the world and just kind of try to copy what they did? Maybe try to do what they do and then try to maybe improve upon it, you know? Would it, or if anybody here, does anybody here play sports still? You played any college sports or anything? Or anybody here play baseball in college or high school? Baseball? Anybody here? Baseball. Would it make sense for you to try to like develop your own pitching, like sidearm, underhand, weird concoction like thing? Or would it make more sense to look at an established pitcher and kind of copy his form? You know, so what I'm getting at is just look at the combination for the career you want to get to. If you want to get into real estate, there's a guy in Tulsa named Daryl Baskin. He is a phenomenally successful real estate developer. He went to ORU where I went. He will tell you anything. He won't charge you. He just likes to help people out. But studying him, you're going to get a lot farther ahead than you would if you go to like every seminar in the world and read every book, because you just want to study someone who did it, you know? And, okay, so again, you got to realize life has kind of a combination to it. The third thing is that you have to understand that if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. Okay? If you can conceive it, you can achieve it. Problem is that most people don't conceive it, and why don't they conceive it? And it's probably not their fault in a lot of cases. What keeps you from taking time, like in this class, to sit down and think? For those of you who wrote down what you want to do, and this is the first time you've done this for years, I don't know why, but why was it the first time you wrote it down? For anybody who wrote it down for the first time today, what you wanted to do and why? Why was it the first time? Anybody? Anybody? Why do people take... Henry Ford said that thinking is the hardest thing there is to do. That's why so few people do it. Okay? Seriously, what does that mean, though? What would keep you from sitting down and dreaming and coming up with a big plan? What would keep you from doing that? There you go. Scared of failure, so write that down. Fear of failure is one problem. Fear of failure is one problem. Could sarcasm be a problem? Like, does anybody here in this class freestyle rap? You throw it down? We got too many Caucasians to do this. Okay. For real though, okay. A bunch of my buddies and I, we can throw it down. I've got, if you go to YouTube, type in DJ Clavis, you can hear my funk, okay? DJ Clavis, it's good stuff. But I'm saying, if you go into YouTube, DJ Clavis, C-L-A-Y-V-I-S, we used to get together and we would just freestyle for hours. And we could go and we could say whatever we wanted to, and then we would go to like hip-hop places and we'd throw down. People like, man, you guys are sick. But our friends were like, you guys are whack. Because the first time you're rhyming, you know, you're like, hey, my name is Clavis, and they're like, dude, that's weak. Oh, you know, and people criticize, right? So when you criticize somebody and you throw out sarcasm, what does it do to them? It kind of takes down your, you know, your self-confidence, right? And you kind of go down and you kind of get, you know. But what do you say about the guy who's upright and he's super confident? We kind of say he's cocky, he's stuck up, he's had his head in the clouds, whatever, right? And so what I'm getting at is that you got to be careful to guard yourself against fear, but also guard yourself against sarcasm and negativity, and be super careful that you don't do it to somebody else. Because if you kill my dreams, in my opinion, that's the worst thing you could do. I mean, I know you go to jail for a long time for rape and murder, but I think killing someone's dreams is right up there. Because parents that make fun of their kids, that's a weird thing to do. Your kids are going to grow up weird. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen parents at Walmart, you chewing out their kids, telling them they're idiots and stuff, and they're like 4? You ever seen this? Makes me want to punch them. You know? I've got 2 kids. I have one on the way, you know, and I would adopt America if I could afford it. But it's just a deal where I see these parents and I'm like, you guys, oh, you are some crappy humans, you know? But how dare you criticize a kid? You know what I'm saying? How dare you do that? Because it kills their dreams. So what I'm saying is in this class today, if you can, just for maybe one day, I don't know if you, my goal is to maybe have 2 people that this resonates with today. Take your goals and rekindle those dreams. Napoleon Hill, who wrote this book, Think and Grow Rich. By the way, if you read this book, it's the best book in the world ever. I don't get paid to endorse it, I just bring it because it makes me feel special. It was written like in the 1920s. Andrew Carnegie commanded that, or helped to finance this book, and he demanded that it be put in every single Carnegie library. And that was why he started his Carnegie Libraries, was to get this book out. A lot of people don't realize that. Carnegie Libraries, this book, there it is, Think and Grow Rich. But Carnegie wanted to get these principles out to people because he believed that these things were really important, and that's kind of what I'm teaching from today. Now, if you have your goal, right, and you have your goal and you're working towards it. So, ma'am, what is your name, ma'am, Miss Redhead? What is your name there? Casey. All right, I'm going to stop calling you Miss Redhead, Casey. Okay. So, now, Casey, let's just say, is anybody here scared of starting a business because it might not work? Honestly, you have kind of a fear of that. It's okay. Okay. So, here's something I want you guys to write down. It says, happiness is the step-by-step movement towards a goal. So if you're constantly spending your whole life chasing this dream to be a real estate mogul, are you ever not happy? I mean, if you enjoy your job sincerely, if you're passionate about it, if you enjoy it, if it's exciting to you, showing homes, seeing homes, listing homes, talking to new couples, helping to move in, if you're excited about the process, even if you make very little money, as long as you're not in poverty, I mean, isn't that kind of a good life? I mean, I'm a DJ. So my job is I go to the Gaylord Texan this Saturday and I throw it down on the mic. I just get on the mic and go crazy, and people dance, and I'm teaching them the Cupid Shuffle. That's my job. I'm a grown man. That's my job, is I teach people to do the Cupid Shuffle. How ridiculous is that? Yeah, I'm like, then to the kick, you know. That's what I do. That's my job. And even if I had only made 20 grand a year, I like it. Now, contrast that back to my unnamed friends who graduated with me. Some of them have jobs that they get paid well, but they don't like it, right? So I'm asking you today, are you willing to exchange happiness for a paycheck? Right? Please tell me that you're not. But if you are, just realize you won't be happy. Okay? So if you're willing to exchange happiness for a paycheck, you got problems, and it's not going to get better. Because what's going to happen is you're going to graduate from college. Who here has student loans? I have a lot of them. They're awesome. Awesome. I'm almost done paying them off. Okay, but I have like a no interest on them almost, so it doesn't make any sense to pay them off. But, okay, seriously, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, cash flow, it doesn't make sense. But with your student loans, who has a car loan and a student loan? Okay. You're not down and out. I'm just throwing you out here, okay? So you got the student loan, you got the car loan. Now what if you take the step after graduation and you take a job you don't like because it pays 50 grand a year? You don't like it at all. I mean, it's, like, what do you do? Well, I work in IT doing some things on the spectrum valve girder, never mind. You know, does anyone know someone like that? You ask them about their job, and they're like, I don't want to talk about it. It's just my job. I just do it. Most of my waking hours, I'm there. I don't want to talk about it, though. You know, I don't like what I do all the time, but I have to do it for $50,000. You know what I'm saying? What happens is, you get the car loan, you get the student loan, you get the job you don't like. Pretty soon you look up, you're 40. Pretty soon you're 60. Pretty soon you die. There it is. No T-Boone sticking on this. No T-Boone Pickens on the stadium. And the reason why you don't get on the stadium is because he was chasing his passion. He wasn't chasing money, and therefore it worked out. Okay. So hold on to your passion. Okay. So again, happiness is a step-by-step movement towards your goal. It's not money. Okay. Just run. It's not money. You must understand that every goal is a dream with a deadline. Okay? Who here has got like, you entered in like a fitness competition in high school, college, or maybe some sort of workout camp for a sports team, something where there was like some sort of physical activity related to a deadline. Like by the start of the season, we're going to be able to do this much, we're going to be able to bench press this much. Anybody have that kind of goal? Anybody here? Anybody? Anybody have a big goal you had recently? A big goal? Anybody want to share a goal you've had? You know? You're going to stop cursing for the entire class? I don't know. Does anyone have like a goal like that? Okay. Well, I'm getting at is, if goals are a huge thing. Any successful person you're going to meet is going to have goals. They're going to have them, they're going to write them down, they're going to talk about them, they're going to see them, they're going to be everywhere. Okay? Most of the millionaires I know actually have their goals up on their mirror at their house. They're millionaires, but they have them on their mirror every day. They see them, they're around them. But a goal doesn't mean anything unless you have a deadline on it. Has anybody here worked for a boss where you've had a deadline at work? Okay? How intense does the boss start to get the day of the deadline? I mean, is he starting to kind of, right? He's starting to get a little like, dude ski, you know, are you done? You know, he's starting to kind of work with me. Come on, you know. Well, you know, but how many of you do that to yourself on your own deadline, right? By the time I graduate Oklahoma State University, what my goal was, by the time I graduate Oral Roberts University, I want to have a business that allows me to pay for my college so I can not have to drop out, and allows me to support myself so I don't have to work for somebody else. That was my goal, right? But how many people get intense and say, dude ski, you're playing video games again, you got to do something? How many people talk to yourself and tell yourself to do that? You got to put a deadline on yourself. Yes, sir. You do that? It's beautiful. Does anybody here have a good example of a goal with a deadline you put on yourself you want to share? A good one? Because I'm just telling you, like, this is a huge thing. Because most people don't do it because it's really easy to like put a goal on. Is anyone here a manager of a restaurant or something? Manager? Anybody? Does anybody here work for a manager at a restaurant? What's funny is that people are really intense about the people they manage, but they let themselves slack. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that out for you. Be intense on yourself. Be your own worst critic, okay? So goals are a dream with a goal is a dream with a deadline. Next point. Andrew Carnegie says, put all of your eggs in one basket and make sure that no one kicks over the basket. How diversified do you think the owners of Quick Trip are? They're not. Right? How diversified is Herb Keller, who started Southwest Airlines? He's not. How diversified was Boone Pickens? Not. Right? Why? Because they're sold out to their thing. How diversified is Oprah? Not. Now her products are diversifying. Anybody watch Oprah? You like Oprah? Anybody here dig Oprah? I'm down with Oprah. I love Oprah. Love it. Okay. She's got her own whole multimedia empire, but she put every dime she made back into herself, right? So if you own a business here, sir, what kind of business did you want to start? A bar? Okay, so you have a bar, and let's say the first month you make $1,000 of profit after you're paying yourself, right? If you go out and buy mutual funds, buy a little bit of Coke, a little bit of Boeing, a little bit of these different companies, and you diversify in the market, you're saying that you think those companies can outperform you. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it. I've been able to grow our company at about a 30 or 40% growth rate every year. I believe that the market won't do a 30, 40% every year, so I feel like I'm a better investment than the market, right? But then as you get to your company to a certain point, maybe you reevaluate. I don't know. But I'm getting at is you want to put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, you know what? You're not diversifying. And yeah, worst case scenario, you get hit by a bus and you die. But it doesn't matter, okay? So I'm just saying put all your eggs in one basket because if you don't, you're never going to get anywhere big, okay? I'm not telling you guys like financial tips for working for someone else. Sometimes if you start a business and you're an entrepreneur, you cannot diversify because you will seriously wonder why you're doing that when you need the cash to buy the new sign that says, incredible bar. You call it like even more Eskimo Joes, like you're competing with them. You know, it's right across the street, you know, the crunktastic Eskimo Joes, you know, whatever. If you're going to, you need to buy that sign, but you didn't because you went out and bought mutual funds to diversify, to protect yourself. And by protecting yourself, you guaranteed yourself mediocrity. Humada, marinate. Okay, moving along. Next point, it says, Abraham Lincoln says that you must practically educate yourself regardless of your accessibility to formal education. Does that make sense? Let's go with pop quiz. Did Bill Gates graduate from college? Did Jeff Bezos graduate from college? Amazon.com guy? Let's go with, here we go. Thomas Edison, inventor of the light bulb, video, and light. Light, video, and audio. Anyone here, he invented all that. Did he graduate from college? No. Did Jobs graduate from college? Steve Jobs? No. Let's go with, we can keep going. Henry Ford? No. We could go with, okay, we keep going. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with college. It just means that you don't need college necessarily to do what you want. Did the dudes who started Google, did Google have anything to do with their degrees? No. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is you guys could start a major business in this classroom today. The idea could happen to you today. It could happen right now. It could be the next big thing. In here, it doesn't require a degree. Now, formal education is great because there's all sorts of research that shows you will be better off than people entering the workforce without it. But do you get the difference between practical education and non-practical? Not to offend any teachers, but let's be real. Mesopotamia, do you care? I mean, I care a lot about papyrus and whatnot. I mean, I'm really into cuneiform and I like to use it a lot. It's just the way I like to communicate, But no one cares, right? You don't care. Do you care? Does anyone here really care about the Byzantine Empire? You're really passionate about it? I mean, maybe you do. If you do, I'm sorry. Okay. But Pythagoras doesn't really involve DJ connection very much. I'm not like, here's the deal. We have 5 different packages. And if you take a squared plus b squared, you're going to get like the big package. Check with me here. Now we got papyrus. I'm going to roll it out. I'll make your contract here. I'm going to use my cuneiform to make it. No. I'm like, oh, the Incans, they used to do yada yada. The Aztecs used to. No. I don't say, in MLA format, let me fax that to you. No, I don't. Right? I don't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. But it matters for college because you have to have structure and learn how to do things properly, and it's important to learn that. But what I'm getting at is what would be, the last class we had, we talked about how to optimize your website, right? In 30 minutes or so? Do you know how to do it? You feel pretty confident? You feel pretty confident you know how to optimize a website now? Yeah. Okay. We talked about how to optimize a website, okay? Like in a 30-minute class. I wish I could rabbit trail there. But you can teach you how to optimize a website in 30 minutes. But how many people here know how to build a website, but you don't know how to optimize it? Come on. Hands up. Who knows how to do it? Who can build a website, but you can't get it to come up top in Google? So you could build a website for real estate, right? But you couldn't get it to be, like if you type in Stillwater houses, it couldn't be top. No, you don't. Real quick, can I use this? Sorry. I'm sorry to argue with you, but you're sweet, and your name is Casey, and I apologize for calling you Miss Redhead, but I'm going to argue with you. It's okay. I'm glad you argued, though, because it's important that we argue. Okay. See, I'm just going to... Okay, real quick. I know we don't have a lot of time. Was there a keyboard here? Yes. Okay. All right, real quick. Let me just show you. If you guys go up here to the Google, who does not use Google? Anybody here not use Google? It's okay if you don't, but you're wrong. Okay. So you use Google and you type in, if you're looking for DJs in, any bride here, any girl in here engaged? Anybody engaged? I'm picking on you all day. This is incredible. We have like a good aura. Okay. So we go here to, if you're looking for a DJ and you're having the wedding in Tulsa, what would you type in for your wedding? DJ Tulsa? There we are, top. Oh, and I didn't pay. Ain't going out like that. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to taunt you. I didn't mean to. I just did it to make myself feel good. This you have to pay. But how many people click the side? Anybody here click sides? The people have spoken. Okay, so here we go. We click it though. Okay? Now if you want to pick on me, don't do this, but you could. You go to View and you go to Source Code and you look at my meta tags right there, and there's the keywords. You see those? Tulsa, Oklahoma, DJs, Oklahoma weddings, 5th quarter parties, tailgate parties, game day parties, July 4th, 2003, Memorial Day parties, trade show parties, Glenpool, all these zip codes. What am I talking about? I'm talking about keywords. You could copy them from my website, put them into your website, bada bing, bada boom, you're up there pretty quick. Only problem is I do it all the time, so you couldn't beat me for very long. But, okay, so you do that. Then, anybody here, let's say we go to About Us, okay, and you read about our website. How many people here, honestly, when you go to a website, scroll below the fold? The fold's what we're looking at right now. How many people would scroll down? How many people? Anybody? Okay, how many people, I'm scrolling. Tell me when to stop, when you would actually stop scrolling. Tell me. No? Anybody go lower? Anybody go lower? Limbo? How low can you go? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Tell me when to stop. Bum, 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 ba-da, ba-da. You still going? Ba-da, bum, bum, ba-da, ba-da. Okay, I'm getting run out of music. Bum, 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 bum. We good? Bum, 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 bum. We still going? You still going? Bum, bum. At what point do you stop? Anybody here stop? Yeah. You guys are intense, like readers. Okay, well, here is the funny thing. If you keep scrolling down, you're going to go, you know, this guy, oh boy. Sure, Dave Brown is not a DJ and probably does not really belong to on the Meet the DJs page, but DJ Connection has been able to sustain such tremendous growth in large part because of my really cool water and because of the hard work and dedication of Dave Brown. Not only is DJ Dave a phenomenal DJ in his own right, DJ Clay and Dave worked the Capel, I spelled it wrong, worked the Capel High School project graduation every year together, but he knows his DJ gear, which is good because we have purchased 6. What am I talking about? Nothing, but it comes up in the search engines, right? How did I learn that? Because you spy on the competition, you take what they're doing, you improve upon it, bada bing, it's a new product. You polish it up a little bit and it's new, all right? That's what you do. You buy something for $1, you sell it for $1.50. That's what business is, okay? So all I'm saying is this right here is practical education. You see what I'm saying? Like I could teach you, and if you look here, see how this word here, determination, if you click it, it takes you to NapoleonHill.org. Okay? And if I click Tulsa Wedding Entertainer, it takes me to the Tulsa Wedding Show. Why do you think I have those in there? Yeah, Google gives me a point, not for the customer. I don't really care if it helps you at all. It helps me. Google, I get 1 point every time I link to somebody else's website, and I get 2 points if you link to me, and I get 3 if 3 of us link to each other. And the more of those I have, the more 3-pointers I keep hitting. Google's like, you're on fire, baby. You're up top. That's how it works. That's all there is to it. Google doesn't recognize pictures, anything. So what you do is you make a site that looks beautiful up here, above the fold, and then down here you put a bunch of crap in it that relates to your subject, and you link it all together, and you spend hours, and there it is. But look at me, it's hundreds and hundreds of pages of crap. This is just totally crap. There's nothing here that makes any sense at all. Alan Painter, funny is to Alan as the morning is to the dew, as color green is to the spring foliage, as butter is to bread, as sweetness is their weakness. This wonderful haiku was composed by Clavis Maximus, and he paints. What does that mean? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you optimize it. You know what I'm saying? So practical education is what it's about. You see what I'm saying? So all I'm getting at is don't get like mad at me. Don't get mad that I'm telling you, you know, businesses save taxes and this is it. That's just how it is. So I'm saying knowledge without application is meaningless, is what Edison said. Again, knowledge without application is meaningless. Meaningless. It's good on Jeopardy, but if you're not going to Jeopardy, it doesn't matter. Okay? So I'm getting at is that you guys have to learn practical knowledge. So who here, again, we want to study real estate, right? You want to study real estate? I'm not telling you to drop out of college. What I am saying is that if every time you attain knowledge that doesn't somehow help you, maybe you're taking English courses that'll help you write better so you can do a better job, you know, promoting properties, then it would help you. But every time you take an extra hour or class or this that takes you away from real estate, it really is meaningless unless you go on Jeopardy. Okay? So what I'm getting at is that you got to make sure that you're learning the skill sets to do your job. So now that we've learned that, now that we know what Thomas Edison thought, who invented everything, and Henry Ford, who invented the automobile, and Carnegie, who brought that to light, there's some credibility there. Bill Gates has similar philosophies too. So I'm getting at is you really want to pursue knowledge. Does anybody here want to do a job that requires for sure you have to have a degree? Like you want to go into surgery, and people aren't really down with you doing that unless you have some sort of maybe like over the internet kind of license or something. No, really, I read a lot about it. It was awesome. I can do it. I can do it. Okay? So there is some things you have to have certifications for. But knowledge without application is meaningless. Make sure you get some practical education. What I'm getting at, guys, if you can't afford college and you have to drop out, you're in good company. No big deal. I did it, and I'm not doing as well as Bill Gates, but he also did it, and it keeps going. Okay? The guys who started, Sergey and Larry started Google. They dropped out. I mean, we can go on and on and on. So you don't worry. The guys who started the Google are doing okay. They're shacking up in a little mansion house thing. Okay, so moving along here. Then where it says Thomas Edison, again, he says that knowledge without application is meaningless. And I want to throw this out here for you. Do you guys know that statistically some research has shown from USA Today that 1 year of formal education equals $200,000 of added lifetime income? So every year that you sit here in this class and you pass, you get $200,000 extra lifetime income. Now, how does that work for people that are learning every day? Like I drive here, and it's like a mobile library. I'm listening to audio tapes while I'm driving. I'm learning, sales secrets and stuff, things about buying connections and emotion with women. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm studying this while I'm driving, and I'm trying to sell women stuff at McDonald's. I stop. But learn all this stuff. If I keep learning every day, if every day I read for an hour and a half, you know what I'm saying? So by the end of 20 years, I have 20 years of formal education. How powerful is that? I can optimize Google. I can do professional photography now. I can do video. I can DJ. I can scratch. I can do whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I just keep learning. So I'm saying is you got to keep learning, okay? Education, practical education. Moving along here. It says you must display an unyielding faith like Rockefeller did. Unyielding faith. What does that mean? Anyone want to define unyielding? Unyielding? Yield? Never stops. Okay. Talk to me about never stop. Let's say that you had, yes, sir. There's an entrepreneurial belief system that I encourage. It's kind of weird, kind of crazy. And a lot of people believe that you should act as you're already in possession of what you want. So let's just say you acted like you already had $1 million. And you dressed like that. You acted like yourself. You carried yourself that way. Eventually you will attract it to yourself because people are like, that guy's always talking about it. Good example, I wanted a hot tub. I just got a hot tub. Oh, yeah. I've been talking about a hot tub forever. I'm like, I want a hot tub, I'm talking to brides and grooms. I'm like, oh, they're like, how you doing? I'm doing great, but I just really want a hot tub. You really? Like, yeah, I don't know. I say that because it's good rapport building material, Then I start going to weddings and people are like, how you doing? You having a good night? Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just thinking about getting a hot tub. Really? Yeah, I just want a hot tub. I don't know what to do. Sorry, I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I do this. And people in the office are like, how you doing? I'm doing great. Guys just want, I know a hot tub. Yeah, all right. So people are just like, he's weird, but I work for him. I'm not going to say anything to him, Then one day, this guy calls me, David Fling, from an event I ran into. David says, I got a hot tub. You got a hot tub. How do you get a hot tub? I heard about you want a hot tub. There's a guy I know. He owns a business. When he has a wedding for his daughter, he wants to book you, and he doesn't want to pay. He just wants to trade it. He just bought the hot tub, doesn't like it. Doesn't fit his new house. Really? Yeah, how much is it? Well, you just do his wedding, you get the hot tub. Yes! So I got the Leisure World brand new hot tub in my backyard. All I did was just threw it out there. You see what I'm saying? Bada bing, bada boom. That's how it is. The law of attraction. It throws it down. I'm not kidding. So you have a hot tub. You can come visit. We only have room for 4 people though, so you got to sign up. Okay? But the thing is, it's awesome. Okay? I'm saying, but that's how it works. It's the law of attraction. But does that work negatively too? Has anybody here been around somebody who's super negative? Dude, how you doing? The economy sucks. Like, dude, you haven't had a job when the economy was good or bad. How does it affect you? Dude, it sucks. Okay, so you're going to get a job? No, the economy's bad. Have you applied for a job? No, it's horrible. Have you left the room this week, dude? No, dude, it's bad, Well, that dude, no one wants to be around the dude, so opportunity repels itself from dude, and then dude gets farther and farther. You see what I'm saying, though? And I'm being serious. Thomas Edison was famous for firing people for creating negative ether. He believed that everyone had a force field around them, and there was positive and negative energy. And if you were negative, he would fire you, and if you were positive, he'd hire you. And that was his criteria. So you could work for him and be like, dude, you're kind of bringing some negative vibes here. We're going to have to let you go. And you're like, what? I think you just look negative. You look tired all the time. You're kind of down and pessimistic. You're gone. Then positive people get hired. And he just blew out his energy. You know what I mean? Because he didn't want anyone criticizing. Think about it. Some dude comes into a room and says, stand right there. This is how he did it. He's like, holding your, let me touch your throat. You're like, what? He's like, dude, don't move. He's like, holding your throat. You're like, dude, get off my throat. No. Shh. Talk. He's like, dude, you just told me to, no, talk. Okay. Talking. Dude, I feel vibrations in your throat. And he's like, you're freaking me out, Tommy. Well, give me a needle. Give me a needle. I feel like I can, So he's trying to tap and recreate vibrations. And he's like, look, we can create the same vibrations with a needle. Like, dude, you're whacked. But no one said, dude, you're whacked, because everyone was positive. They're like, that's a great idea, right? We could do this. Pretty soon, dudes are melting wax, spinning it, needles, reproducing human sound. Is that crazy? Is that crazy to you? Is that crazy? It's a crazy idea. People would think you're nuts if you came up with it, Right? It's just a crazy thing. But we know it's true because it works. But it's crazy. But if you have negativity, it won't work, right? Because if it would have happened in my dorm room, people would be like, dude, that's whack. That's whack. That's whiz-ack, dude. You know? Okay, moving along here. Okay, point 8. Napoleon Hill, author of this book, says, after interviewing Andrew Carnegie, he said, how do you deal with failure, sir? How do you deal with failure? And he says, failure is a prerequisite to success. A prerequisite. So it's like Spanish 1 before Spanish 2. You have to have it happen. You have to fail. So have I started a landscaping company that went belly up because I couldn't motivate Caucasians to mow lawns? Yeah. Is it offensive? Yeah, but it's true. Okay? So, have I started a website development company that was very profitable, but like I couldn't motivate the guys to do the optimization? Yeah. Have I started a wedding chapel and had money embezzled? Yes. Have I started a photography company and had to sell it? Yeah. Have I had a t-shirt company? Yeah. Did I, you know what I'm saying? All these different things that didn't work, but you learn each time. You see what I'm saying? You keep learning. So failure is a prerequisite to success because, and here's the big part, behind each temporary defeat, you will find a seed of an equivalent benefit. Whoa, that's a big one right there. A seed of an equivalent benefit behind every defeat. So if you really go bankrupt, you really discovered some good stuff right there. Right? Because it's major things. What could you learn if you're me and you started a lawn care company and every day the Caucasians would hop in the vehicle, the truck, they pull the trailer to the home sites, and every day they forget to trim the bushes, right? Or they forget to bring their home their gas can. Every day they forget something. If you're me, what would you think of? What could we learn right there? Anybody? This is how you do it. What's that? Okay, and what would be a practical step, in your opinion, to perform better? What I did is I read a book that's called The Service Profit Chain, okay? And it's about successful service businesses. And they noted that at the Marriott hotel brand, everything has a checklist, right? So, mower, blower, gas, are you in the car? You know, these things before you leave, right? Then I read another business best practice about the Fairfield Inns, the Fairfield brand. And the Fairfield emails every customer a survey asking them to rate the performance of, their cleaning staff and their hotel operators. And based on the ranking of their service, based on how the customer ranks them, that determines what they get paid. How cool is that? So now, no more forgetting gas can, because you don't get paid if they don't like you, right? So now a customer says, you guys didn't trim my bushes, and the guy's like, oh, it stinks, I don't get paid for that lawn. Right? Are they going to forget it again? No. You see what I'm saying? But I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm not that smart. Just read books, spy on companies. Look at companies that do something well. Next time you go into like a Southwest Airlines flight or a quick trip, look at it and go, how is it possible for this to run so smoothly? How is this possible? And then go to the DMV and just cry. Okay. Okay. Moving along here. Now it says, you must be passionate about over-delivering to your customers and contacts if required, you must be passionate about over-delivering to your customers and your contacts because it's required to grow your business. Does that make sense, over-deliver? Girls, anybody here had a date recently, a first date recently, with a dude that didn't work out? He's not in the room. Just kind of maybe do the half wave. Anybody here had a date that didn't work out first time? Okay. Cool. Yes, awesome. Okay. Did he show up later on time? Okay, I'm sorry. I won't bet. Did he show up later on time? Sorry. I understand. One of the things, though, over-delivering. So let's just say the dating. Let's look at something dating. We can kind of relate to it. Girls, if the guy says, I'll be there to pick you up at 7, we're going to a movie, right? If he shows up at 6:50, looking good, right? Looking good, not crazy sexual, but good, okay? He's showing up. He's there 10 minutes early. He's on time. You open your door. You're there waiting. He's waiting on you. Good impression or bad impression? Dude shows up 10 minutes late, looking good or bad impression? Maybe neutral, kind of, maybe? Or is it good or bad, we think? Not as good. Dude shows up kind of looking shabby and 10 minutes late. It makes you feel like maybe he doesn't value your time or you as a person or something. You know what I mean? So what I'm getting at, think about your customer now. If you tell a customer, ma'am, when I finish your wedding photography, 30 days, how many days do you think you should get it to him if you promised him 30 days? What's that? Who thinks 20? 20? 20? Okay. And what if, okay, 20. So we do it in 20 days. If that was you as a customer, are you happy? What if I throw in a free 11.5 by 14? 11 by 14. Framed. No charge. Beautiful. Unbelievable shot, right? Do you like me or not? Will you tell somebody to use my service? Do I have to ask you, like, what 5 friends do you know? You know, you ever had that guy? Hey, Billy, seriously, I've been thinking about you. We need to get together and talk about a business idea. And then he gets together with you at some restaurant. And he's like, what 5 friends do you know that could benefit from this amazing opportunity? You know, that guy, that kind of thing pisses people off. They get upset. But if you have the over-deliverance, people tell their 5 friends because they want to, right? The sincerity there is huge. People are like, you would not believe these photographers. They took the photos, right? They said it'd be 30. They got it to me like in 20, right? And they gave me this unbelievable images completely free. You got to use them. That is how I grew a DJ business. That's it. I tell, I'll be there at 3 o'clock for your wedding reception. All the other vendors show up at 4 o'clock, 4:10. They're all freaking the bride out, right? Is there any girl in here been a part of a wedding recently? Did any of the vendors show up late? Did the cake person show up late or something? Oh, yeah, and brides are just like, they're already worked up. And they're just like, someone's going to pay. Someone's going to pay. And then the person walks in. They're like, hi, we're doing good here. Nothing to see. Just me freaking out about you, you know? You know, the bride's getting crazy, right? They get intense. And then they're just bad-mouthing. They're like, that person, it's my wedding day. I've been planning this my whole life, you know? And then, meanwhile, I've been there for like an hour, though. See, I've already been there. I'm already on your good side. You know what I mean? So the bride's there. I'm already there. She's like, Clay, I'm just glad that you're not late. I'm like, yeah. You know, we're bonding. We're marinating. We're becoming friends. You know what I'm saying? So after the wedding, she's going on like the not.com, writing evil hate mail about everybody else. And she's writing stuff like, the DJ's got there early. You know, I think one of our guys is going to date my bridesmaid. And it's just like crazy stuff. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. That's what people do. So we had one bride that called in. I asked her how her day was going. And she says, well, okay, how are you? So I'm doing good. You know, things are going well. I had an incredible game of basketball this morning. Feeling great. Feeling good. I was on fire, you know. And that's what I say to people usually. You call in the office. I give you the cards. You can call in just to mess with us. But we call in. We're always funny and stuff. And she says, well, I said, well, how are you? She's like, well, actually, so you don't sound so hot. You're engaged, though. What's the deal? She's like, well, her name's Danielle. Danielle Muron. And Danielle says, I just lost my job, you know, got laid off and stuff. And I don't know. I'm like, well, are you looking for a job? She's like, well, yeah, that's what I was just saying. I'm like, well, what do you like to do? And she's like, well, I like to do, you know, work with people. And I'm like, well, there's a bridal shop I know called Fasciano's at 71st and Garnett. They're hiring. I'll make the call, get you the job ski. Cool? She's like, oh, yeah. So I call, get her the job, right? So after the wedding, Danielle's like loving us. She's like an unpaid advertiser for DJ Connection for the rest of her life. She loves us because of just getting her a job, right? You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to do that. Nowhere does it say, we'll show up on time, we'll do sound, we'll do lights, we'll get it crunk, and we'll get you a job. That's not part of my service, right? But you do it because you want to over-deliver. You know what I'm saying? Over-deliver. But don't do it just at work. Do it in the dating. Guys, show up early, dress nice, bring her up, maybe not an overwhelming amount of flowers, maybe off flower. You know, ladies, you don't need to freak you out. You don't be like, don't bring a marriage proposal on the first date. But I'm saying, you know, do something, over-deliver. You know, tell the girl, hey, you know what, we're going to go out to Olive Garden. Then take her out to the nicest restaurant the world has to offer. You know what I'm saying? But don't tell her you're going to go to the nicest place and then take her to like McDonald's. Don't do that. You see what I'm saying? It's all about expectations, though. You feel me on that? Marriage is work. Same thing, marriage. You're married? My wife is unbelievable. She's super beautiful. Let me show her to you. Here we go. Let me show her. About us, ladies. Got my daughter and my wife up here. That's my wife. There she is. That's Vanessa. That's the bird, I call her. That's the bird. That's my daughter. That's Savannah. That's the bird again. That's the bird again. But anyway, the bird, my whole thing with the bird is I'm like, bird, I'll be home at 6. And then I want to show up like at 5:30, and I want to bring maybe a cappuccino or something because she likes it. And then she's like, you're awesome, you know, and then I'm scoring points. Dudes, we're scoring points. You can redeem those points. So, but what I'm saying, that's how it works though, right? But if I say I'll be home at 6, which I've done, I'll be home at 6, and I show up like at 6:32, bad deal for me. On the couch, hanging with the homies. Dude, you guys want to get together and hang out in my man-in-law room and watch Star Wars again or something? You know? I'll just be outside by myself, you know what I mean? It's a bad deal. So you can over-deliver works for you, but under-delivering works the same way, okay? So over-deliver. Anybody here have a job you're at right now? A job you ever hear? Who has a job? Job? Try this at the job. Just over-deliver. Seriously, get there 10 minutes early, bring boss a coffee, stay 20 minutes late. Your coworkers will call you suck up. Guess who gets promoted? Who cares? That's how it goes. I've got a guy in my office who does this. Love the dude. People are like, dude, he sucks up. I know, dude. I know. I know. I love it. I love it. It's just good. Bosses don't care. You know what I'm saying? And he keeps over-delivering. So then, his name's Eric, okay? And then Eric says, hey, man, I got your Red Bull today. I'm like, oh, really? And people are like, are you guys like lovers or what's that? You know? So Eric and I'm like, Eric, hey, you know what? I want to hire someone to do production. Looking around the room. Eric, you need to do production. Guys are like, why Eric? I've been there for 2 years. I'm like, because he's over-delivers all the time. And I like the Red Bulls and stuff. Right? So now he's like second in command, well, he's third in command of the company. There's 50 of us, and he's the third highest up because of over-delivering. So that's what it's all about. So again, just want to clarify why over-delivering works, and I'm not exaggerating. Seriously, as an owner, you're going to love it, okay? As if someone dating somebody, you're going to love it. You're always going to love it. So over-deliver. And okay, which is why I got here early today. All right. Okay, 10. You must work passionately to create mutually beneficial relationships. Mutually beneficial. Now, this is a life philosophy. I encourage you to take it into your family relationships, but I also encourage you not to because your parents will like write me hate mail. But for me, this is the bad deal. But does anyone here have like a family member you talk to all the time and they're just negative all the time? Like, you know what I mean? Totally bring you down. Like, how's your college? That's great. It's great for me to poop on. You know? How are you? Great, great. I'm glad. You look ugly today, by the way. You know? And they're sarcastic to be funny, but it's not funny because that's how they are. You know what I mean? They're always just like, or you'll bring home your grades, and you're like, Mom, I got straight A's. Friggin' awesome. And your brother's like, oh, you're a jerk, you know, because you cheated and everything. I hate you, you know? That guy. Well, you can't engage in a non-mutually beneficial relationship because it's not sustainable. You feel me? Why do you guys think that Microsoft and Dell had a great relationship? Anybody? Microsoft and Dell? You're reading my funny factoids up there? Hey, Microsoft and Dell. Anybody know why they had a great relationship? Was it? What's that? They needed each other. Mutually beneficial, right? Bill Gates says, I've got this great software, but you know what? No one's going to want it unless they own a PC, right? And the PC people say, no one wants a PC unless there's an operating system on it, right? Mutually beneficial, that's the deal. So I want you guys to real quick on your paper, draw a circle, and I want you to put the name or the kind of business that you want to have in the center of the circle, okay? Big circle, the kind of business you want in the center of the circle. 10 minutes? Okay, I'll go fast. Okay? Now, around the perimeter of it, write any businesses related to your business. So my business is a DJ. What's related to me? Photographers, florist, cake, home, real estate. You've got somebody who does interior decorating. You've got new home builders. You've got tile guys. You've got landscapers. Okay? Right? Anything related around it. That's who you want a mutually beneficial relationship with. That's who you want to form those relationships with. Okay? Only people that have the power to benefit you back. You feel me? So even though I like you and you like me, it probably wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for us to get together and network all the time because I don't know how many people I could send you that were looking for new homes. But maybe I could. Maybe they're brides and grooms. They just got married. Now we have an avenue. I don't know. But you only want to have mutually beneficial with people that have the ability to affect you positively. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense for you guys to go network with like, you know, Little John, Little Wayne or something. You know what I mean? It wouldn't make a lot of sense. It might be fun, but it might not be good. Okay, final thing is, as you guys are learning and earning, I want you to take that circle you have, okay? The big circle you just drew, and I want you to make the peace sign in it, the peace sign, but kind of leave out the center one. You know how it goes down and then you got the two? Leave out that center. So break it into thirds, okay? Break it into thirds, okay? Remember, big circle with the thirds, break it into thirds. And I want you to write in 1/3 of the pie, write learn, and then write 1 through 25. 1 through 25 and learn in one part of the pie. 26 through 50, write earn, okay? And then 51 through death, write return, okay? And that's what you do. And if you follow that cycle, there's a Jewish guy I know, he started Vidal Sassoon, very wealthy, and a bunch of people I know who have this philosophy. If you learn, earn, return, spend the first 25 years learning, the next 25 earning, the next 25 returning, you'll have a pretty balanced life and it works out well for you. Problem is when you're 50 and you're just now learning, bad deal, okay? If you're trying to return when you're 25, bad deal as well. So there we go. But I just want to encourage you guys that we only are going to live one time. And there's no really need to go through life over-medicated on pharmaceutical stuff to compensate for personality disorders and not do what you want to do. Okay? You know, I'm like ADD, that's my problem, ADD. Woo! Awesome. Okay? But, you know, I can't just like complain about it. I used to stutter, couldn't talk very well. I can't play musical instruments, but I want to. There's certain things I can't do. I'm horrible at math. You know, I can't complain about it. I just got to get off my butt and do something. I want to encourage all you guys in here, you don't have to wait till you graduate to do something big. You can start something big today, but just take the time out to think about it and really begin to formulate those plans today. But does anyone have any questions or anything? Any questions? Anything at all? Any questions that you have that kind of are coming to you? No?
I have questions.
Yeah.
They were all supposed to think of one question to ask.
Oh,
So
sure.
now they have questions.
Okay, I'm ready. Yes.
My name is Cindy Davis. I'm a marketing senior, and not so much on hobby, but I read on your website how you kind of got trouble for your ORU Slim Shady South controversy.
Yeah.
Could you shed a little light on that one?
Yes. I went to Oral Roberts University, and that's where Richard Roberts went. Have you guys watched the CNN report? He was embezzling money while I was in school, as well as when I was out of school. And no one believed me. And I knew it because I had people that I knew who were the nannies for the Roberts. And so I wrote a parody song. If you go on YouTube and type in DJ Calavis, you'll find it. And it's called the ORU Slim Shady. I wrote it, and a buddy of mine put it on Napster. And about 5,000 downloads later, I booked a lot of weddings, got a lot of popularity, and got kicked out of college. So that is the story of the ORU Slim Shady. And it led to my first connections, and people actually hired me, I think, for sympathy. They're like, oh, you got kicked out? That's a great song. We should hire you for a wedding. I don't see the logic there, but it worked. So that's what I did. And now I write like political parody songs. That's what I do. So I don't mean to offend you, but if you go to my website, you'll probably really agree or disagree with me, but my opinions are up there. But I'm very small business, small government, small, get out of my way, let me do my thing kind of a guy. So, anybody else have any questions? Great question, though. Yes?
My name's Tyler Starkey, HR manager.
Yes.
What's one of the biggest challenges you face starting up?
Not having any capital at all and coming from a poverty mentality, trying to break it into a wealthy mentality. That's something you're maybe going to struggle with a little bit, Casey, because you know, if my wife's family, they all live in San Diego, granite countertop is what they do. They roll with granite. They roll in Tahoes. You know, you're like, hey, you guys aware that gas prices are an all-time high? Fill her up. No. You know, are you guys aware that people are supposed to be struggling in the economy? No, we were down in Mexico at our condo. We didn't know. You know, because they're wealthy. You know, but they don't understand poverty like we don't understand rich. So what I'm getting at is you have to surround yourself with people that are wealthy. I wrote letters, harassing letters, I think probably, to the owners of Quick Trip for years, being like, is there any way I could get together with you for lunch? I'll bring lunch, I'll do cartwheels, whatever. You know, start sending them funny CDs, ridiculous to ever you're trying to get my way. And finally they call me back. Valerie Painter calls me and says, Clavis, DJ, this DJ? Like, yeah, what's up? Hey, Chet would like to meet with you for breakfast tomorrow. He owns Quick Trip. And I'm like, you know. So I meet with him for breakfast and stuff, and I ask him all these questions, like, what time do you get up every morning, you know? What time do you go to bed? What books do you read? You know, how do you know like what you should be spending your time doing? You know, should you be working or should you be, how do you decide what to delegate? How do you decide when to hire and fire? I'm just interrogating him, and I learn from him, you know? And I keep surrounding myself. So now, you can say I'm pompous and stuck up. I really don't hang out with people that are negative anymore. So if you're like a negative dude, I just won't kick it with you. And so that means I don't go back to Minnesota, where I'm from, anymore. I haven't been back in like 5 years, and I won't go back. Because it's small town, really negative, really slow, really, you know, like bad service kind of a town. Don't like it. Not saying anything bad about small towns, but just my town. Famous for the world's largest ball of twine. So there we go. Anybody else have a question? It is. It's a bad deal. Yeah.
My name is Tara White. I'm the marketing and management manager. I can see that where you networked your business out with like companies.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing like a satellite company? Because I read on the website where you do like a 4-hour travel.
Yes, we have Dallas, Tulsa, and Oklahoma City. And what we did is we started a photography company with a different brand, different niche. You guys know like Victoria's Secret and Express are the same company. Does it bother you? I mean, there's different niches, but it doesn't bother you. No one's like, oh, they're trying to make a monopoly. Well, that's what I did with photography. I started a photography company. And then people were like, do you guys know of a photographer I could recommend? I do. You know what I'm saying? So you hit the cash register twice. And it worked great, but I wasn't mature enough to really staff people. Because the thing I ran into, you asked for a business difficulty. I explained it to the last class. But I had made the mistake. When you start a business, the way you're going to find your employees, you're going to go, dude, you're my roommate. You should work with me. That's how you start it, right? Well, then after 4 or 5 years, dude who's your roommate no longer can perform at the level you need him to because he didn't grow with your business. You grew and you matured, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So the guys you started out with no longer can make the jump with you. And so you either have to decide, I'm going to keep offering crappy service, or I'm going to have to fire that guy and hire somebody better, which means you have to fire like a friend of yours. And I wasn't mature enough to be able to pull somebody aside who I'm friends with and say, hey, the way you answer the phone is really sloppy and your customer service is pretty poor, so I need you to stop doing that or I'm going to have to fire you. It was hard for me to have those conversations, because they're my buddies. And then once I finally got it, like, you know what, I'm hosing my customers to make my friend feel more cozy. Then I was like, okay, friend, I need you to stop doing this and this and this or I'm going to have to let you go. And half my friends did it, half my friends didn't, and I had to fire a lot of people. And that was a tough time for me. But now I can handle growth because I can fire people and not feel bad about it, to make room for people that are really excited and eager people that I should bring on board. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're the man, I meet you in this class and I'm like, that guy'd be a great DJ. There's no need for me not to hire you because I'm already full if I have a guy that's not that great. I need to replace him with you, So that's that goes. Any other questions you got? Yeah?
I'm a management major. From reading your website, I see that you've done a lot in a short amount of time.
Sure.
I was wondering what your business goals are for the next 5 years.
There's a guy by the name of Jason Bailey, and I want to throw, you guys, when you write this down, okay, real quick. Your business is a vehicle to get where you want to go. It's not where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you build a business that's awesome, you don't want your goal in and of itself to be your business. I mean, if you have, like me, I have two kids, a wife, I got one baby on the way. My son was born, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you're on my website, you can read the story. If you go home, right here, and you read the story about us, and it's, let me see here. It is, it's in here. Why is it not here? It's home. Oh, man. Let's see here. No, it's not where I want to be. Oh, here we see. There he is. Epic story of Aubrey. This is my son, right there, Aubrey. He was born blind. And so he can see now. He's a miracle baby. And if you read the story, it's like scientifically not possible what happened to him, but he can see now. And so it's kind of a weird deal. But he was healed. But I couldn't spend the time with my wife when he was born, because I had to go DJ a wedding. And I couldn't spend the time with them to go to the doctors because I had to go DJ someone's party. And you see what I'm saying? So I built this business that required 7 days a week maintenance. And I make all sorts of money, but yet I don't get time to enjoy the money or spend time with the family. And again, when I started the business, I didn't think about, hey, my goal is not just to build a big business. My goal is to be able to do the things I want to do with my life. So to answer your question, now that I've kind of understood that having a big business isn't the goal in and of itself, my goal right now is I have a guy who works for me, and his name is Jason Bailey. He's from Locust Grove, and he started working with me from 4 years ago. He used to work at a video store and in the produce department of a convenience store kind of thing. And Jason has really matured, and he wants to own the company. And so my goal is to have him buy me out eventually, probably soon. And then yours truly will kick it for a couple months and just kind of marinate and do that thing. And then I'm going to start a radio show to give my pontifications on various political things and small business tips. Kind of like a forum like this, but for the radio. That's what I want to do. But so the next 5 years, I probably won't be doing this anymore, or if I do own it, I'll be more passive in the role. But because I don't know how to be passive, I'm probably going to have to sell it. So that's my thing. Anybody else have any? Yeah?
Just out of curiosity, did you give him a middle name after you found out he was born, just like based off the story in the book?
I named him after Napoleon Hill because Napoleon Hill he grew up poor, and he wanted to become wealthy. And so he asked Andrew Carnegie, he snuck into his office, kind of a crazy story, world's wealthiest man at the time. So it'd be like sneaking to Bill Gates' office. He shows up, and he's like, sorry to interrupt, sir, but I want to become like wealthy like you. If you could just show me, it'd be awesome. Please don't kick me out. And he's like, oh, sure. If you're willing to work for free for me for the next 10 years, I'd be happy to show you. And he's like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'll fund the book. I'll pay for everything. I'll put you up room and board, but no pay, just education. And he's like, okay. So that's how he started. That's Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill, before was an author for Ladies' Home Journal. He didn't really like his job. And he started doing this. And he ended up writing all these success skills. And when I read this, I'm like, that is me. You know what I'm saying? No one had ever, in my family, no one over-delivers. I mean, who lives in a family where the word over-deliver is used, No one in my family talks about the mastermind. My parents were never like, my mom never came home and said, Tom, quit bringing negative ether into our house. You're contaminating the family. But that's the kind of discussions that wealthy families tend to have, that my wife's family, they tend to have these principles. They're like, hey, Dress to impress. Dress for the role you want to have. They say these kind of concepts like they're common sense. And in my family, it's not common sense. So Napoleon Hill was such a powerful thing for me. I decided to name my son after him. And the next most popular or powerful figure for me was Rockefeller. And so if we have a son, he's due in November. I think it's going to be a son. We don't know yet because he keeps moving in the ultrasounds. So if it's going to be a dude, it'll be Rockefeller. And if it's a girl, it'll be Angelina, after Angelina the ballerina, because my daughter likes that show. That's kind of the logic there. Anybody else have something? Questions at all? Okay. Well, I gave you guys a copy of a CD. It's really crazy funny. It might be disturbing, but it's kind of like a little audio motivational Kool-Aid. I have to listen to audio motivational every morning to kind of get me rolling. So it'll get you going. And then on there's a little history of our company on there. I think there's some funny rap song too. I think there is. There might not be. I don't know. I hate to false advertise. And then there's our card, should you want to email in and harass me from time to time. Cool? Thank you. Well, I was just going to tell you guys, if anybody here has any questions about starting a business, one of the things that I've struggled with is that it's hard to find a good mentor, because like your college roommate is mentoring you and he also doesn't know what's going on. It's kind of like, dude, do that. Dude, do that. I don't know. Try that, If you ever have a question, I'm being serious, you can go to our website. If you go to the Contact Us or it's Connect With Us page, and you go here and you just email in, just put your name, phone number. I'll be happy to call you back. Or if you just want to email your questions, I'll be happy to do that there for you. And I just want you to feel like you have kind of a wingman should you need some help from time to time. And then also I have on here, there's a reading list. And these are the books that I have read that have changed my life here. And so I put them up here so that you guys could have them or people could have them, because no one ever came to my college class and said, the $100,000 Club, how to make $100,000. I thought that was the coolest book when I read it, and it tells you exactly how to do it. It's not hard. It just tells you how to do it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm dropping out of multimedia. Oh yeah, I know what to do. Seriously, that's how I did. I got into my apartment, I picked up a phone, started calling apartments, and I started booking them, and that's how I did my business. I got kicked out of college. Then I picked up my phone. But, seriously, and it tells you how to do it. There's a book here, The Laws of Success. It just tells you the tips for selling. Little tip here for you. Men, how many men want to start a business? Okay. Little tip. What percentage of products and services are purchased by women? It's about 80% is what the average is. So men, your opinion's not valid. Just like the guy who decided not to use Google is not valid. Ladies, your opinion's valid. So guys, if you're building a website or a product to sell something, let me show you just a company. I want to show you this. Ladies, if you don't like this, I'm sorry, but it was designed for you, so I failed you. This is a company I started and ended up selling it because of my lack of management skills at the time. But this is a site designed for ladies. Look at her. Oh, she's having a good time. She's really having a good. But this is all like wedding photography we did. But all these photos, dudes, we don't do that, right? And we're not like, oh yeah, I'm in the water, Yeah, But these are all like lady things, everything like if you go to our portfolio, let me see real quick here. Okay, stop that Coldplay. If you go here and you go to like all these images, these are all from weddings that we did. And this is all like chick stuff. Dudes, we don't wear shirts with pink on it. There wouldn't be any industries if there wasn't ladies. Thank you, ladies. My job wouldn't exist. No dude would book a DJ. We'd just get on a card table and, play like, paper, rock, scissors, and basketball for an hour and then say I do. And this is all, so lady. So I want to encourage you from a marketing perspective, dudes, do not listen to your gut instinct. You chicks know what's going on. So, any other questions at all? Anybody have anything that you're kind of, books to read. I want to throw out some good books for you to read though. This book, Think and Grow Rich. Read this book. And if you don't read any other books, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It follows the path of a very wealthy person and a very poor person, and one of which has a degree and one of which doesn't. I'm not ripping degrees again, but it follows them through their life, and it teaches you how to benefit from the tax structure and stuff. What is the average person right now in America paying taxes, do you think? I just ask you because that's your biggest expense. When you start a business, people are like, what's your biggest expense? I've taught seminars. It's like, what's your biggest expense? Is it advertising? Is it employment? It's taxes. 52% is what you pay right now. But you don't realize, let's think about it real quick. You work at your job, you get taxed 25%, right? Then we go through the toll road. Is a toll road going to a business or the government? Tax. Okay, then you get your DMV, you go and get your license, right? And your tag. A tag, what's a tag? It's a sticker, but it's $150. It's $300. It's a $400 sticker. Awesome sticker. You can scratch it and it smells good. Right? Then what else are taxes? Think of some more taxes. If you smoke, oh, you really get it hit hard there, right? Smoke. And then if you have a nice car, you get a luxury tax. If you have your cell phone, who has a cell phone bill where it's $99 a month, unlimited calling? Anybody have that? $99 a month, unlimited, like a Sprint phone? Anybody have a Sprint phone? I have that. Unlimited calling. What's your bill like? $127 or something weird? And you look at it and it's like state usage tax. Internet, it's like the United States, yada, yada, tax. When it's all said and done, it's 52%. And what the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad teaches you to do is to cut it down to about 25%. Legally, and stuff. So, legally. But, real quick, does anybody understand that? Does anybody understand any ways that works? Is anybody kind of confused how that system works at all? You kind of freaked out about taxes? Let me ask you this. How many people got a tax refund this year? Okay. Now, why is that bad, potentially? I mean, why is that bad? Why would you rather just pay at the end of the year? What's inflation? Anybody know what inflation is? Every year, a dollar is worth less money than it used to be, right? So if we get out $1, right, and you bury it in a Folgers can, how much will a dollar be worth 30 years from now if you follow our current rate of inflation? Like 3 cents. So you see how Social Security is weird, that you put in like $3 and that you come back 30 years later and it's supposed to be worth something? It won't be, because money loses value because government spends more than we make, right? So what the concept of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is saying, keep your money, because when you get it back from the government at the end of the year, it's lost 5% of its value all year because the government's had it for you, right? So if you're self-employed, you can keep that dollar all year, and at the end of the year, you pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody here confused by inflation? Why does inflation matter? Anybody care? Anybody know? Anybody here know anything about inflation? You studied this? What is the national debt? What is that? Anybody? Let me say, not so much the number, but what does it represent? Anybody? Like if we owe money to someone, who cares? What does that mean? Do you understand the way that the Treasury, does anybody here know how the Treasury works? I'm not making this up. You can research it. You can read books. There's a book called Loopholes of the Rich. There's a book called The History of Jekyll Island, which explains how we created money, got off the gold standard. What happens is Congress comes and they say, hey, we need some new stuff. We need tanks or whatever we need, right? And then we're like, but dude, we don't have any money, right? How do you get in debt, right? You spend more than you have, right? Well, the government's like, we don't have any money. Well, what do? Print it. Oh, that's a great idea. Why don't we all print money? Because we can, it's illegal, but they can't, right? So they print money, and when they print money, what happens to the money? Supply and demand. Everyone has more money, so it's worth less. So the more money everyone has, the more money's worth less. Do you feel me? So if the interest rates are really high, money is worth potentially more because less people have it. You feel me? So why would the Federal Reserve raise interest rates when the economy is getting weird? It increases the value of money. You see what I'm saying? So the Federal Reserve is trying to balance all that stuff. And so it's a really bad deal. What if you work at a job where you make a 4% annual increase? Are you getting ahead, really? Let me just show you an example here real quick. I want to show this to you guys. Let me see here. This will freak you out. Sorry to freak you out. I'm not giving you Armageddon talk here, but I'm just giving you some good stuff here. Okay, so we say value of gold graph. I own gold. It's good times. Let's get a value of gold graph. If we get some gold here. Here's gold. Gold? I said golf? Value of golf? What am I doing? Sorry, I was out in the parking lot experimenting with various glues. Let's see here. Okay, look here. Gold in 2004, do you see it was worth $45 an ounce? You see how it's now, or $450 an ounce? You see how it's up here now, it's getting closer to $100 an ounce? You see how the gold moves up here? Well, why? Now, if you go back, let's see a 30-year graph of gold. Let's go 30 years. Let's go back 30 years, not just a year, because that's kind of skewed. 30-year value of gold. Do we have something like that? Do we have a variation? You better give me something good here, buddy. Okay. That's the same graph. That's the same graph. I want to see something good, some quality graphs. This is still the same thing. Gold, let me see. Let me try here. This is more credible. Okay, Kitco, precious metals. Oh, man, market of gold. Oh, there we go. Yes, I see it. Sorry. Click. Okay. Show me the 30-year gold price. Here you go. 1971. You see it, the value of gold? Look at it now. You see it right here? It's close to $700. Do you see it at the end? Okay? If you went back in time of Rome and I gave you a gold coin, what do you think you could buy for it? Like you could buy like a toga, right? You could probably get some food, right? And maybe get some like a place to stay, like to rent, right? If you put it in a Folgers can, right, in the time of Rome, and you left it for your American cousin. Time of Rome, put it in the can, somehow you left it for your American cousin, Clay. So 500 years later, I'm like, thank you, brother. I find it, I'm like, the gold he left me. It has the same value monetarily today as it did then. You feel me? But if you buried cash, you feel me? You guys get that? So you buried cash, it has no value over time. So if you're going to hold wealth, what's a good way just to save money? Gold, because the value goes up over time. You're not going to make a lot of money, but at least stays current with inflation. You feel me? So like look at here. The gold is so high right here, but you see how gold buoys when the economy gets bad? You see how that goes? Why does gold buoy when the economy gets bad? Anybody know? What's that?
It's the hedge against it's like the hedge against oil or the hedge against.
Yeah. And not to get too complicated, what I'm telling you guys is if you're trying to save money, you have to compete with inflation, because if you guys don't make more than a 4% increase a year, you'll get behind inflation, which means you're actually getting poorer. Does anybody else have any questions about that at all? Anybody kind of weirded out on that? Let me ask you this here. As far as for you guys with starting a business, how do you go about getting capital if you don't have any money and you want to start like a company that makes t-shirts and you just graduated from OSU, you got great ideas, you got a great degree, but you don't have any capital? What's the couple ways you can go about getting money? Business partners? Angel investors, okay? So who here thinks you could round up maybe 20 grand if you had to start a business? 20 grand? Okay. Let me ask you this. Is there anybody that's a classmate of yours right now? You don't have to say their name, but someone that you know that has such a great reputation. They've got great grades, they're on time, super dependable, nice person, you trust them, that you would maybe give $1,000 to start a business because you felt like that person was that strong of a person. Is there anybody you know? Do we know anybody like that? That's that good, that quality of a human? You know what I mean? That you really believe they're not going to take your money and run? Does anybody know someone like that? They could be older than you. They could be like older than you, younger. Does anybody know someone like that? Right? Okay, do you have like an adult you know like that? Maybe someone older? You'd say, man, if he's doing a business, I'll invest in it. Would you guys invest in a thing if like T. Boone Pickens came in here and talked about it? Would you invest in something he's doing? Why? Because he has like a reputation, a history of it. What I'm getting at though is that there's never a shortage of money. There's only a shortage of ideas. And your ability to get money given to you, your angel investors, is based on your reputation. And that's something you can build right now in class today. Because if she's your teacher and she knows you're a solid dude, you come ask her for $500 to invest in your crazy idea, she might be game for it if you're a solid dude. But if you're not a solid dude and you're always late all the time and you dress weird, you probably won't get that. So, humming. Thank you guys.